where two short-term rental bros come together.
What?
Not in that way, bro. There's a podcast of truly epic proportions where we talk about all things short-term rental and shoot the shit along the way. Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast. Here are your hosts, Matt Codd and Austin Spitz.
Let's do it. Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Co-Host Bros Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Austin, and today we prepared absolutely nothing for you, but we're just going to BS a little bit, and we hope you like it. What is going on, Austin?
What's up, man? How's it going? How you doing? How's the 75 hard? How's life? Well, give me the scoop, dude. What's up with you?
Day 22, and figured I'd hit record on the button because we've been bullshitting for 30 minutes and not recording anything. We talked about a lot of good things. So hopefully we still have that same energy as we go back and forth here. And stop texting your girlfriend. I'm just kidding. You're on video.
Yeah. Okay, we got to start this one over. This is bad.
You're bad. No, keep going. We were good. There's no edits. There's no edits. Hey, everybody, there is no edits.
Dude, we cannot put this one out
anyway.
there. No, but this is funny though. No, this is funny though because you can put it. You can put it in the bloopers and then put it in a blooper thing and then just be like, "Yeah, dude, no, fuck this. We got to restart. We got to restart."
Okay.
All right.
We'll I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You ready? Okay. You ready? Yeah. Are you good?
You put this out there, man. They're gonna lose a lot of listeners from the start, but that's okay. We're good. This is how we do things.
Maybe we'll gain a lot of listeners because this was pretty funny for both of us. And generally, laughter is infectious. That's the tip of the week, everybody. Laughter is infectious. So as we laugh, they laugh. We all have a good time. They share our podcast. It's pretty easy. It's relatively pretty quick here. I mean, all we do is just, fuck it up and we're good to go, So what's up with you? What's new?
Nothing too much from personal development perspective. We're on the same day of 75 hard. It's been pretty smooth sailing. Getting into the 20s, 20 days, 20-ish days. Getting a little more challenging, I guess. I had one tough day where I finished at like 11:50 at night. I finished my walk around the neighborhood, which sucked. But from a business perspective, we just launched another property that went live in Central Texas. So we actually put it up, and our good friends at VRBO, we got a booking from there on our first booking for Memorial Day weekend. So it was at like $500 a night. We had no reviews, no nothing. So I got it listed and ready to rock and roll Tuesday. Got the booking the same day. So owners were happy because we got it booked, and the turnaround time of getting the listing ready was really quick. So that's pretty much it, man. That's what I got going on.
That's awesome, dude. So what do you charge? What are you charging on that? 20% of the gross, or 20% of the nightly, or 20% of the gross and the cleaning fee, or?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So the way we have it currently set up is pretty much every owner is at 20% of the nightly rate. Now we're getting to a point where we're being way more selective with the people we take on. Gratefully enough, all the seeds we've planted over the last few years are kind of organically getting business coming in, and we can be a little more selective and pick and choose. First of all, we want to make sure the owners are good people, and that's who we want to work with, and we want to make sure the property is a good fit. So I think going forward, we're looking at bringing it to 25% for everyone and bringing all the consumables in-house since we are centralized in one area. And I think shout out to Patrick Switek. He kind of gave me some game on this, but we kind of just need to make sure that it's fitting our monthly revenue number, and we might tailor the percentage to that client, because it doesn't seem fair that if you have a $40,000 property, you should charge 20% on it and make less money and have all these headaches to deal with, where you have a $140,000 property that requires essentially the same amount of work. So we're looking at doing more of a tiered system. And if your property just doesn't produce, it has to be beneficial for us to manage, okay? Because it has to be a good fit for us. So I'm thinking if it does do less revenue, then we will just up our percentage. So say we want to make $1,000 at least per month in our percentage, then what does that percentage number look like? Is it 30%? Is it maybe 35%? And that's a nice way of kind of letting owners down easy without saying, hey, your property's not good enough for us, or you're getting to a point where you're scaling, you can only take on so many. You don't want to take on everybody, because then you'll start doing other people a disservice. So that's kind of my rant on that. I think it's kind of property specific, and you make the percentage work to what you expect to make on the property. And I really like that, and I think that's what we're going to do.
Kind of slide scale depending on how much the property is going to do. Because like if I don't really want to take it, I'm going to charge a little bit more. Um, if I do want to take it, it's going to make me good money. I want to charge a little bit less type deal.
Yeah, and it's nicer to let the owners down easy, because if they're like, no, 30% is too much. Okay, that's fine. I didn't outright tell you no. I gave you an option that would work for us, and it's just not enough.
Uh,
It's too much for you. So instead of saying, it's hard to tell someone like, hey, no, it's not really a good fit, or it doesn't fit our portfolio. It's kind of offensive. Like maybe I'm trying to build a high-end luxury brand and it's just not high-end luxury. And it's just, you can do it without stepping on someone's toes and say, yeah, we'll take it, but for 30 to 35% of the nightly rate. And I'm not taking credit for this theory here, but I just heard it and I like it, and I think we'll run with that. And I think it's fair. I mean, it is what it is. If that hurts your feelings, then okay, too bad. Sorry.
are you worried they'd tell other people that have a house in the same area, like, oh, he charges too much, don't call him? Are you worried about that?
No, I wouldn't be worried about it, but people would probably. I don't even think anyone talks, but if they did talk about it, it's easy to answer to. It's just like, hey, your property doesn't produce the same amount that they do, so there is tiered pricing to this, because I don't know, just a $20,000 property charging 20%, wasting all your time and energy, versus a $120,000 property. It's like, at some point you have to be that, if you can execute, you have to be that premium vendor that's like, this is how we do things. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of I'm trying to think of an example of companies that like only will take select people based on having to fit their needs, but try to build your business to be, that the high end version of it. That's what I'm trying to get to, at least, but
Yeah.
we will see how it goes.
Yeah. I think it's good. So let me tell you why. Actually, from I would say like a word of mouth offline marketing standpoint, if you were to get enough people saying one, what your clients say now, that oh, you made me way more money, right, than my last property manager, they're going to spread that like wildfire. And then if you have another group of people saying, oh yeah, don't go with him, he's too expensive, right? Well, at some point, those people are going to hear both on each side who haven't been with you yet. And then it's going to be like, well, you get what you pay for, right? So you already heard that going with me can increase your revenue. And you also heard that I'm expensive, right? But if you want to go buy a car, do you buy the most expensive car, the lowest car payment? Or, the most expensive car, the lowest car payment, which is shit? Or do you go buy an expensive car and a high car payment to get what you want to
Yeah.
get? I mean, that was probably a shitty analogy, but you get what I'm saying though. So it's like the negative and the positive, but once they're together, it's like it's like a multiplication now, right? So it's
Yeah.
like 2 + 2 is 4, like boom, like it blows up that way because then people are like, oh yeah, Charlie said you made him a bunch of money, and Franny said that you're really expensive, and you're like, yeah, well, I am really expensive, but here's the deal: you get what you pay for. So if you want me to increase your revenue, it's going to cost a little bit more money for me because it costs me money. I'm doing you a disservice if I don't make you money. If I don't make you extra money than the last person that managed, I'm doing you a disservice, and I shouldn't even be charging you that much. You're right. I agree with you, but I'm going to charge you what I'm worth because what I'm worth is going to make you more money. You know?
Yeah. And I think a lot of they've taken over from big property managers where you can come in and make an impact, and they're drastically underperforming. Like I got told the other day that at the 6 month mark, I've already surpassed what their yearly revenue was last year. I was told I've got that at 6 months from an owner. So it's like, when you have that, you're invaluable. So you can kind of tell them, hey, that is what we do, and that's the percentage, and that's the price that we do, and this is the reason why, because we do the extra things that big property managers won't do. So yeah, to your point exactly, if you can especially demonstrate your value, and then you kind of say like, okay, you're so hung up, and that's the problem is people get hung up on the percentages no matter which way you spin it. But if you know the value that you bring, it should the percentage number doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I had somebody tell me like something about like they had a property and it was very, very low revenue. We just took it on and they were complaining, about, oh, well, the cleaning fee is a little bit higher or whatever than we expected. I was like, you're not seeing the bigger picture. Your property was performing at like 25,000 less, so the cleaning fee, we got to get past that. We got certain things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, people just don't get it sometimes, but it is what it is. So you're over here trying, I mean, and you're crushing it with that house that, in 6 months, and it's not even summer yet. Like it's summer today. Like school just got out. Like yesterday was the last day of school. So you have all summer long, and you may double what you did in the last 6 months. You may double their income. And, and then I was thinking like, too, like in your future now, when you see houses like that to where it's like, for instance, like I see it really underperforming and I know that I can crush it and get to that number already, right? Do I create something like a target in the contract? Okay, well, you're going to pay me 22% of the gross booking. And then if I reach this level within this period of time, you're going to pay me 25%, right? Like a tiered thing. So it's like almost a bonus structure for you. But it's like, look, if I make you 10% more, I'm getting 5% additional, right? If I'm making you this much more, am I getting more because you know that the house is so underperforming? Because you're probably double the numbers on that house, right? You'll probably double it this year because you have May, June, July, August, even September, and you may get a little bit in October, maybe as it cools down. But I mean, you have 5 more months to just, you know, 4 more months to get cracking. So it's like, do you look at it as a learning experience now in the way you charge, especially like now you're charging an overperforming property. It's a high performing property. It's not the low one where you would charge more, but now do you create a bonus structure for yourself? I mean, this is food for thought. I don't know. We're just talking about this so that everybody kind of just thinks too. We're all just like thinking and, just breaking things down so that it's more understandable and so that we learn as well. So it's like, if you want us to talk about whatever you guys want us to talk about, just comment and leave stuff. But anyway, that was my question to you, Austin. What do you think about that? Like, what is your thought on that?
No, honestly, I've never even thought about that. I think also shout out to getting a double mention. I think that, yeah, Patrick again had mentioned something about that. That is a really good idea. And now that you bring it up again, I'm actually thinking about revisiting that. I'm going to let it marinate for a little bit, but I think that's a really good idea because I think if you can demonstrate your value and they're like, well, we're making only $20,000 with Vacasa. Okay, well, I could get you to $50,000, just say for a simple example, but we'll do 20% for the first year. And if I surpass 50,000 in gross revenue, next year two will be 25. And we'll get that in writing and add it to a contract or something like that. It actually is a really good idea. Honestly, I love it, and I'm gonna sleep on it, and I'm gonna think about that a little bit more because once that's a great way to be like, here's the numbers, here's what I did, and I showed you I could do it, so pay me, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I was actually trying to lead you into that to Patrick's idea, but it wasn't the bonus part that was Patrick's idea. That was just my idea. It was the other part where you said charging more for the lower ended properties than the higher end properties. That's what he was saying on that episode. So it was just like I was just waiting for you to say it. I didn't want to jump out and say it, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a good thing to think about because why not just change the way things are, right? Because I'm sure, if anybody actually does this, I mean, hit us up because I want to know. But I think it's kind of cool. You're kind of creating a little bonus structure in for yourself. And now you're not raising the rate so much, or maybe you even do like I know you do a referral fee, right? So okay, referral fee is cool, but if I was like, so if you bring me a client and I sign on with them, I'll take 1% off for the whole year. So 1% every month for the whole year, 12 months, right? You're losing a 1% per booking over a long period of time, but how much are you really going to lose? I mean, it's a good referral fee because I think that if I were to say to a owner, like, look, if you give me this listing and if you or you whatever you refer it and I lock it in, I will pay you $1,000, right? That sounds really good. But if I say I will take 1% off your fee, to most people strategically in their brain, that sounds better because it's directly what they're paying you. The $1,000, they're not think of what they're paying you. They just think you're giving them $1,000. But the 1%, they're like, oh yeah, I got to pay them 1%. Yeah, oh yeah, that's good. Or 2%, whatever, right? It ends up probably being similar to the same, but it might get you more referrals. I don't know. Or you can give them a choice, right? Oh, I'll give you this, or I'll give you that, right? Just to
Yeah.
kind of even get more referrals or something. I don't know.
No, that's a good idea too. I jotted that down. I'll have to sleep on that, let that one marinate as well. But I think that's a really good idea. I mean, think about it from this perspective. This is an extreme example, but let's say it's even 2%. You take 2% off per referral. Would you manage one client, if say 20% is your number, would you manage one client for free to get 10 more properties that, and obviously you want to do this with clients that have higher end friends that have, revenue producing properties. So let's say that does work and you got in with somebody that knows a bunch of people and they're like, hey, they all got it. I can push them your way. 2% off every booking. So then they send you, let's say 10 people, whatever. You're managing their property for free, but then you got 10 clients out of it. When you put it into that perspective, yeah, I mean, I would be down with that. I feel like that's cool. Like that's fine.
I thought of something even further too. So you could even do like a promotion. Let's just say, let's call it 5% off of May, right? If you get us a client from now until March 31st, 2025, we will give you 5% off May next year. It's busier, school's out, whatever, but it's not. We all know it's not 100% busy, right? Because there's still 3 weeks of school. So usually the last 2 weeks generally are the really busy part. But to them, it's the busy, busy, busy part. But really, we're talking June, July, probably July. But I mean, so it's like, but that's only 1 month, right? I mean, so that probably will equate to 10% because it's May overall annualized. Not 5%, but 10% instead of 20% annualized, right? Because you take it one, or I'm sorry, 12% annualized. You take it 1% off per month. So instead of 12%, it probably will equate to maybe 10%, maybe 7, probably less. But that sounds cool too, right? So I mean, I don't know, just different things out there to advertise and get a referral, or even if there's people following your company that, you can even target people following your company because you never know who stayed at your house and who has an Airbnb or not, right? So you may have, say, if you have 1,000 followers, I mean, good thing to share on there or whatnot.
I feel like somebody should, it may already exist. I feel like I've seen one or two posts about it, but they should have someone out there that starts a business that will cold call or either cold call for you on leads that fit your specs or just send you warm leads that you can call yourself as a business and then either pay them upfront or just pay them for any closed leads. And they did the legwork to find the underperforming property. They did the legwork to whatever this lead is, send it to you. And if you close them, you owe them 1,000, 2,000, whatever the case may be. Some kind of commission fee if you close them, or that would be a good idea. Like if somebody had leads and
It's
they're
a
like, "Hey,
lead
Austin,
wholesaler, a lead
yeah, like that."
wholesaler, right?
Dude, I would talk to
So
10 people. If I closed and if somebody sent me 10 properties that fit my specs and I closed two of them, let's just say two of them, and I owe the guy $2,000 per lead that I close, like I would be if that property fit my portfolio, I'd be like, yeah, here's $4,000. I'll take those two properties. Let's rock and roll. That's a good idea. I don't know. There may be somebody that does it, but we're pretty well connected in the space. I haven't. I don't know if I've seen somebody. I feel like I've seen maybe a Facebook post or two, but not somebody that's like, oh, there's a guy for
So I
that or
feel like I'm gonna have to cut this part out so we can start that business and advertise it on the
gal.
podcast and say if you want STR co-host contracts at wholesale prices, call the co-host bro Joes. They make the phone calls for them hoes. You know what I mean? I don't know, but
Like, I guess so. We could do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to cut that part out for sure. Also, probably cut the other part out where I really think we need to create like a rewards program for short-term rentals and just get people to opt in and like to where people can earn points and stays and stuff, but we could like do it collectively. I don't know how that would work. I mean, I don't know if people would want to contribute with that, but I think it'd be a cool thing to do. Um, if you could partner, like just like Marriott and stuff like that, because it's actually gonna get us more. It'll get us more business, right? So like you might have to give a so say somebody stayed at my house and me and you were part of the same partner program we started and they stayed at my house and they're like, oh, I want to go Texas Hill Country and they earned a free night. But they stayed at your house one night, but they, got three whatever points. I don't know, three other nights, stayed at three other nights, whatever. Or I don't know, or kind of like the concept to where it's like there's just a little bit extra charge in everybody's price, like $5, and that always goes to that rewards program, so that when they book with those points, you get paid or something. I don't know. I don't really know how rewards programs work in general, but I think that'd be cool to do.
I'm just surprised. It's probably just a matter of time before, Airbnb rolls something like that out, right? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe, maybe
Well,
not.
Verbo has the key cash. Verbo has the key cash. I think that's cool. But I'm trying to figure out like how do they pay the owner? Does Verbo just pay him the money? And,
I'll be
and what do
honest with
they
you. I
do?
don't
They
even know
charge him a
how
little
that.
bit more?
Yeah, I don't even know how that shit works. Honestly, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I should probably check and see if I
Yeah, but
have
I
like
think
a
that's
bunch of
cool.
money in there or something.
I do. I have like $15. I don't know. No, I've never. Oh, well, I can't say that. I stayed in all the Verbos that I booked. Um, but yeah, so I have like $15. I'm like, that's cool. Uh, but it's like crazy. I mean, I don't know. I just think it'd be a good thing. Or like, even though you could do it with your brand, right? But I mean, if you have, I guess if you're third time we're gonna drop Patrick's name, I guess if you have 100 properties, right? I get it because it's more reoccurring revenue, and you might have somebody who like tried out the cheaper, smaller property and like, oh, I got a bonus points or whatever. I want to stay in the high end luxury property and try that out, and the next thing you know, your lifetime value of the customer went up. So instead of just $600 a night booking, the customer came from a $200 a night to a $600 a night booking. Now their value went up as a customer over time. So not that one time, but annualized, yearly, whatever you want to say. So lifetime value.
Yeah, I like this 1% off option, and I've never really reached out. A couple owners I've reached out to to ask for see if they had any referrals when it wasn't like awkward or anything. But I like that, and then I like the bonus structure. I really like that one. That might 20% year one once I demonstrate my value, then go to 25%. That's pretty good deal, or something along
I
those
do more
lines.
of a 6 month offer. If you could break it down more to a 6 month offer, then it doesn't not like every 6 months, but for say like, for instance, like if you're gonna blow it out of the water in the 6 months, like you see the same exact property like you picked up 6 months ago, and you're like, okay, I got this. Then you're like, okay, look, here's the deal. I'm going to cut you guys a deal. I'm going to make you the most money possible. I'm going to hit this number in this many times or like whatever, this number in this many months. But here's the deal. I'm going to give you a discount rate right now in those 6 months when I hit that to prove to you, because I don't want to do you a disservice. I don't want to do that thing to you. I want to prove to you that I can do what's right by you and help you make more money. Then I want my rate increased at that time,
I think it's also how
at the
you
six,
pitch. I
that
think
six
it's
months mark.
Yeah, I think it's how you pitch it too. Just say our rate is 25%. Just say that outright first, and then just say, but then like you could say, but for you, we'll do something different. Look, if I hit throw a number out there that they'll be happy with, that you also know you can make. If everything goes well as normal, I'll do the first 6 months for 20%. And once I hit this number, we're going to go to 25%. Or you could just tell them like 25%. That's it. I guess it just depends on how much you want the property and how nice the property is and how much shopping around they're doing and how much you need to separate yourself. I guess it just depends on every situation is different, but I've gotten to the point of like every call I have, I'm like, this is the standards. This is what we do. Let me know if it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to keep trying. So I don't know. It's definitely something to think about for sure. I like it.
But you're missing it because it's not, you're going to actually literally charge them 5% less. You're charging them what you normally charge. You're just creating a bonus for yourself to get a raise because you know you're going to do that good. So it's not that you're like, I'm really going to charge them 5% less. No, if your rate is 20%, you charge 20%. And then you say, if I, okay, let's just say I hit $50,000. You hit 24,000 last year in the first 6 months. If I hit $50,000 in the first 6 months, the rate is going to go up to 25%. If it does not, because I'm trying to prove to you what I can do for you, then it'll stay at 20%. And that's just basically what I tell them.
Yeah,
Because
that's
either
true.
way you're happy, right? You're at the rate you're at. But then if you earn the other 5% because you know you can,
Mm,
then why not? Why not
I'm
get a
adding it
raise?
to my
You need a
deal.
you need a
Yeah,
cola, man. Cost of living increase. You gotta get one. Inflation's high out there. You know. Oh, my
oh
house
yeah,
listed for sale today. I forgot while we were bullshitting. We were talking. I got a click from Zillow that my rental is
got to.
now up for sale.
Hopefully, you start getting some messages on some showings.
I don't know. Maybe I have it listed a little bit higher than. So when I called the local realtor, um, I listed it higher because I'm not really in a hurry to sell it, and I figure if somebody lowballs me, it won't really be lowballing me, and I'll be happy with it. Um, but I'll just do some extra stuff. I'll run some Facebook ads on it and stuff, just because you know. So I went with a different realtor that would list it at the price point I wanted to list it at. Plus, the
What's the
house,
exit?
like,
What's
what am
the
I doing
exit?
with it, or how?
Yeah, what's
What
your
am I doing with the
exit plan?
money?
Like, yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'm not 1031ing it. I'm taking the money. I'm buying a new property and furnishing that. I'm cost segging it to offset the capital gains. And I'll probably keep some of the money too, so I can, just keep a couple grand. We'll keep overhead and then pay myself a little bit.
So you are
Um,
doing a 1031 exchange. You're saying,
I'm not. No, I'm doing poor man 1031.
mm,
I'm taking all the money. It's going right in my bank account, but I'm doing a cost seg on the next house instead. So I don't have a
mm.
cost seg on this house. All I did was write off regular depreciation on my furniture, my cabinets and stuff. The stuff that didn't require cost seg that I could bonus depreciate, I did. But I think it was furniture and kitchen or whatever. But yeah, so I'll take these and depending on what I make, I'll probably be in capital gains for about 50 grand, maybe a little less. But when I cost like the new house, it'll totally offset it. So it won't be an issue. That's the plan. So I already have some houses in mind and a spot in mind, and I've ran some performance and I've sent it to a lot of people. I even went over it with Bill when we were in Montana. I had the STRIQ guys. I don't know if we talked about this. Maybe we did. I don't know. The STRIQ guys, Tamara was over there. We're trying to get them on the. We're gonna get them on the podcast, but Tamara was on the, in Montana too with us. And when I calculated with my performa, I was looking at anywhere from 23% cash on cash to like 27%, depending on my loan and depending on good, better, best. Right? If it was best, I think it was like 27, 28%. So, like uh, Tamer, Matt Sanderson, and I don't know the other guy's name. I forgot it, unfortunately. The STRIQ pulls up by ROI, or not ROI, cash on cash. Like it estimates cash on cash. So when we pulled it up, it ended up being 21. So I was like, okay, cool. So, because I already know I could push it higher. So I'm like, all right. So good loan product, do the best or even the better. But the funny thing with the cash on cash return, I had a 10% management fee included in the Performa too. So it's like I'm already paying myself 10% and then I'm still making that cash on cash. So the property that I really want has actually been sitting on the market for 3, 4 months. They're priced too high, but I'm probably gonna count. I mean, if I can, me and Chris have to talk about it, but we've talked about it a couple times. If I can get in there, then I'll probably put a full price offer in, even though they're overpriced. But then I'll ask for um, whatever the max allowance is at closing, 6%, so a little more than $30,000 at closing back on the sale, and then I'll use that money to refurnish or to furnish with the other money I already have to furnish, and then I'll take more of a piece home with me, and I'll probably I don't know what I'll do. I might if I could figure out how to get another house or something. I might. I mean, there is a my old house in California actually just went in pre foreclosure. The one I sold 2.5 years ago went in pre foreclosure. Uh, fuck, what day is today? Friday. This is gonna come out on Friday, but it is Friday today, guys. Like on Wednesday. Um, I got a notice from Zillow and it said my whole house was in pre foreclosure, and I was like, shit. And I was telling Chris, I said, that'd be awesome if we could get a hold of them, sub to the mortgage, pay off all their debt, give 'em, or pay off the back loan, and give them like 5 grand to leave. And I told her, I said, I bet we'll be in it for like 20,000, unless we actually have to do some fixing. Let's just call it 30. If I get my old house back for 30 grand, with with the equity already in it, because they paid a lot, but there's probably 100 and over like $120,000 equity in it. And then the mortgage rate was low at the time because at the same time I got a mortgage here in Texas, so it was still decent. It's probably like 3.5, maybe. Um, I could just rent it out and make like $700 a month, and it'll cover everything. So it's like, okay, $30,000 for $700 a month automatically. Like, I may just start cold calling the people that live in my old house. I don't really know.
There you go. So once you find this new market to deal with that you're thinking about buying in, then you're going to set up your rental, and then you're going to start being the guy there. You're going to be the co-host there. You're going to take over that mother effort, right? Like that's going to be your territory.
Yeah, if it works out the way I projected it, yeah. I mean, if it works out the way I projected it, I'll probably within a year, I'll probably be buying another one
Mm.
there. But
And co-hosting and
I don't know.
co-hosting.
It's yeah, and coasting, but there's not a lot of data. That's my issue. So I only had 6 comps. So it's like most people be weary on that kind of stuff. But I'm just like a all in kind of guy. Like I'm just balls deep in this shit. I don't even care. So well, it's not that I don't care. Don't get me wrong. I did my numbers. I ran my performa. It's just how I talk. I apologize, everybody. I'm a degenerate. But I ran my numbers. I ran my performa. I'm pretty sure it'll do well. I'm not even pretty sure. I'm like 99.9% sure. Well, actually, I'm 100% sure it'll make money. I'm 99.9% sure that I'll hit the good and the best, or the better and the best, and not be in the good. But even if I'm in the good, I'm still in the good. It's just not as much as I'd want to make off it, you know?
Gotcha.
I think it'd be about 25 grand I'd make off it if it was that way. But if I'm hitting the best, I'm looking close to probably 70 or
Nice.
more. Yeah. It's just a risk I'm gonna have to take because it's emerging, at least from what I can see. So that's why I'm not gonna share it just yet. And if it blows good, then you're gonna have to sell your house and get you one first, and then maybe we'll talk about it. You know.
Yeah,
And
I
if
don't
it
know. We'll
doesn't, worst
see.
case scenario, sell the house and do it
Yeah.
again,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or long term it. But we'll see what happens. So
Cool. So what else you
yeah.
got? Anything else?
Well, yeah, I gotta meet with the potential client on Sunday, so that's kind of cool. Shout out to my wife. Um, I don't know if you guys out there know, you men don't know that most of your wives have bigger balls than you, and mine does too. Mine has bigger balls than me as well. She does everything that I don't want to do. I,
There
I'm
you
just one of
go.
those people. I hate returning shit, and I hate complaining about my food. My wife does it, and I hate cold texting people and cold calling people. You'd think I'd be really good at it because I'm a very personable guy. But for some reason, I just don't feel like being yelled, cursed at, or called names because I may clap back and that may be an issue. And yeah, so Chris had sent me this link, and I'm going to tell the whole story that you already heard again, just so that you guys can all hear it. So she sent me this link, this Airbnb link, and she was like, "Oh, this house is in our neighborhood." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm not even looking in our neighborhood or anywhere near us to co-host, but anyway, she was like, "That's cool." I was like, "Oh," and I was on PropWire, so I was like, "Here's the property owner." And then she was like, "What's the phone number?" And I'm like, "Oh, here's the phone number." And then she's like, "I sent him a text." And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what? What the fuck? What did you do? So she sent some big long text. I had sent it to you, right? I sent you a screenshot. She sent this big text about how you needed a co-host and yada yada yada. And I like cringed. I was like, oh my god, I probably would have worded that differently. But I'm sitting here thinking like from a sales, like more trying to get more salesy and more markety with it. But I was like, oh my god. And then the guy never responds. So I'm thinking like, okay, in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, fucking, you're not gonna get a response from one person anyway, right? Who gives a shit? Like that's not. It's the numbers game, right? If you're calling people, you're texting. It's like a numbers game, like wholesalers, numbers game, like things like that. All you people that cold call people, numbers game. We all know that, right? So 2 days later, the guy texts back and says, "Oh, yeah, that's great. That sounds fantastic. Just go ahead and get a hold of my daughter and set it up because she's co-hosting it." And we're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And we text the daughter, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my dad's deaf, so uh, he wants me to talk to you, and I co-host it, yada yada." And we're like, "Okay, cool, great. You wanna?" She's like, "You want to meet?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we can meet. That's great." And my wife's like, "Oh, okay. How about this day and this time, whatever?" And then she stops responding. So it's like, okay, we lost him, whatever. It's like, damn, that sucks. And then 2 days later, again, the daughter texts back and is like, oh, 9 a.m. on Sunday. So now I have an appointment with somebody at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, this Sunday, Sunday, and for a possible co-host client because my wife does shit that I don't like because she has bigger balls than me. That was the moral of the
Yeah.
story, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I think the last three clients we signed, they all were cold personal text messages it's time consuming, but when you send a cold text message, that's how we got the last three of them. So what we would do is just kind of find out what's wrong with their listing, who they're being managed by, whatever the case may be, how much money they should be making, make a structure, a text message template kind of thing, and just send it out there and be very specific with their name, not the generic, spammy text messages, the marketing that people do. Very personal. My name's Austin. This is what we do. This is how we do it out here. This is the things I completely see off the bat that are very wrong with your listing. I can't imagine you're making at least this much money. We can potentially be closer to this. I know for a fact. I have case studies on this. I've already done this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want to pitch it to them, or just say like, tell them how bad their pictures are. Okay, 4.4 stars reviews is why you're definitely not making any money, and just things like that, and making it real personalized. And we've done that with the last three of them, and I got responses, set up calls, and then once you set up the calls, just a little nugget. And I know we texted about it, just don't be salesy. Don't talk to them about, oh, well, we do dynamic pricing and we have the best photographer and we do this and we do that and we do that. And I've learned over time and being in sales too that nobody gives a shit about that. What they really care about is how are you going to solve their problem? And like typically there's always a reason people are having a conversation with you. So what is the reason that they reached out to you and why do they have a conversation with you? And keep hitting that nail about how you do that specific thing differently because everybody does dynamic prices. Everybody's got the best photographer. Everybody's got the best cleaner. So what are you different is I'm going to solve your two biggest headaches, which was X and Y. And this is what we do. And this is how we do things differently. And if it's from a money perspective, usually that's the best thing because if they're not making enough money and you could do that, that's the easiest low hanging fruit. So yeah, I think that's good. Just go into it with like, I don't even have a sales pitch. I literally go in there to try and solve a problem for them first, and I just say, what's your biggest issue? How can we solve it? So Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. I think this one's time. I think that's their issue. The daughter's a nurse, and that's probably why she didn't respond. I think she probably works 12-hour days and all that. And then, the father's like old and deaf. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens, and I'll let you all know what happens. Yeah, so
Yeah, and then
it'll be
usually
interesting.
also, yeah, also just try and help them first. Like just say, hey, well, why don't you just try doing this and try doing that? And they just appreciate the fact that you're just trying to help them without selling yourself. So you're like, oh, well, you don't even use dynamic pricing. All your every night's priced at $200. You can't do that. Why don't you try and put price slabs on? Okay, good deal. Here's a photographer I will use. Go give them a call. You need to update your photos. Go do that. Once they realize this stuff, sometimes every now and then I'll have someone that'll take all my suggestions and I'll never hear back from him again, and that's fine, whatever. But a lot of times, like, damn, he
Yeah,
does have the answers, but I just don't want to do all this shit. So, Matt, I get it. You know what
yeah.
you're talking about. Can you just do it then?
Yeah. So like this one, the calendar's blocked in like a month and a half from now. They don't even know it, so it's blocked for like ever, right? It's not open after a month and a half. Their price is set at 179 a night every night. The pictures suck. There's no, I mean, it's a metro area, so it's like there's no amenities. Like we need a coffee bar, we need some outdoor games, like we need some kind of draw, right? Um, so yeah, so it's like the pictures are so bad. It's like, oh my God, I'm like, oh, who took these pictures? Like, golly. So it'll be interesting to kind of just explain it to them and see what happens. It is a virtual meeting. They didn't. I don't think they felt comfortable meeting in person at that time. So I don't know if you usually do meet in person or do virtuals. We did offer to meet in person, buy them coffee, whatever. So what do you do?
Yeah, I've never put together a sales deck. I've never pitched anyone. I've never done anything about telling people about us. Literally, pretty much every sale I've closed would be a phone call in person just to say, hey, tell me about your business. Tell me about your house. Let me get more information. Tell me about your problems. And then typically, like a follow up call, or I'll go meet them at the property and meet them in person. And then once I know what their problems are, then that's it. Just get them talking about their problems, and you'll figure out exactly why they don't want to do this. And but yeah, I don't see myself putting together a pitch deck. No, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. I just get on the phone and let's see if we can work this out. Tell you what we do, and that's it. Maybe I should do that, but I really don't want to because I think I'm doing all right from on the sales side of things.
Yeah, you are. So you set up the Airbnb experienced co-host program. You signed up.
Oh yeah. Whatever that link you sent me, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they haven't approved me yet. I don't know. I haven't gotten any messages or any leads or anything about that, but I guess what Matt's talking about is Airbnb has some kind of co-host program. I've seen the link there before. I've never applied, but I guess he told me that I could go in and apply. So I guess they market for you. You put your percentage in, you put your picture, your about me, tell everybody how great you are, and then I guess they reach out if they're interested in getting a co-host. So I mean, it's just another lead funnel to get more clients, and I guess it's a good thing too because you don't even have to get on the phone with them because if hopefully if
Yeah,
they reach out from their account, you can see the property they're managing, and then you already know ahead of time, like, hey, I'll jump on a call and help you out, but this one's not for
yeah,
me.
they're
Or you're
coming to
going to be like,
you.
yeah,
They're
dude,
coming to you.
yeah. Or it's like, okay, they got a banger here. Like we would love to manage this guy. We need to be a little more aggressive here. So yeah, I haven't gotten any approval or notification yet, but that'd be cool to just get leads like that without having to work for them. Um,
Well, they called
yeah.
mine, but called me, but you had a meeting though. You didn't go to it
What do you mean I had a meeting?
on
If I had
me.
a meeting, I fucking missed it. I don't know what meeting.
Yeah, they sent you an email. You sent me a screenshot of it telling you had a meeting at 2:30. And I was like, oh, reschedule at the bottom. And you're like, oh, I'm going to miss this one. But I was like,
Oh,
okay, I don't know why you're not going to go to the meeting, dude. But I was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to bust his balls about it.
no, I think that's some.
You
I
don't
think that was
remember?
something else.
No, you're fucking serious, dude. You sent it to me. That's hilarious.
I,
I swear. I swear
oh
you did.
shit. Well, I didn't even get a
Yeah, here,
notification
your
that I was approved.
discovery
So
call. your Airbnb discovery call today at 2:30, which was 18 minutes ago, everybody. But they may just list you anyway. I mean, you never know. So like
I
I've had
have
mine
no,
up for
I have no idea. Yeah, well, I guess I fucking missed it because we're doing this and I'm supposed to be there. I didn't know that's what it was.
yeah. So I've had mine up for a couple days, and I've had 25 visitors. It says, and then I appeared in the position 7.67. So I guess between number seven, number eight, and they kind of just give you little stats. But if you want to be an Airbnb co-host, you have to have a certain rating, um, and you have to be a host for a year. So you cannot sign up for Airbnb's co-host program if you don't have a house or whatever, or haven't listed a house for a year. I do suggest before you go co-hosting that you put your own money in the game and learn how to co-host instead of just doing it, right? So Austin and I both own homes, so we put our skin in the game prior and learned everything that we could learn. And well, we continue to learn, not everything we could learn. I'm sorry, we're always learning, but yeah, I guess he's checking out right now to see if his listing is live or not.
I
It's
don't
kind
know.
of a
We'll have to
pain
double
to
back.
operate
We'll have
because
to
you
double
can't
back
go
on
to
that
it
one.
from you can't go to the page, you can't go to your co-host page from the app. That's the problem. So it's like I always like Google it. I could just bookmark it, but I'm not really like that. But
I'll check it back. I'll check back
just
on it.
I just texted you the link. But yeah, so everybody has a co-host program, and then when you go in as a host and it says search for a co-host, you can search for a co-host, type in a zip code wherever your house is, and if somebody's part of that program and hooked up those uh, zip codes, then you'll see their profile. So, and then you can solicit them for services. So it's kind of neat program. Um, maybe help you get leads. I think if you only sign up for that and do nothing else, then it's probably a waste of time. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So did you tell me you had to meet a client, a potential new client again recently, or did I miss that?
Fuck. I don't know. What did I say? Run it by me.
I don't know. Don't worry, everybody. Austin's not paying attention to me. Uh, so didn't you say you were meeting with a potential client this weekend or soon? I thought you said you were.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I just put a property on, so maybe we turned it around pretty quick. So maybe that's what you're talking
Mm,
about. But
probably.
maybe that was a while back.
What's with the What's with the movement? I thought you wanted to move. Are you still trying to move toward like what Fredericksburg, New Braunfels area? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think we're just expanding to basically be able to accommodate other towns in the Texas Hill Country and not be so centralized just in Canyon Lake because the Canyon Lake leads keep coming organically, but now I'm trying to make a name for us in these other towns around that are more profitable that we can service and start
Hmm.
building teams out there. So I think the Canyon Lake thing is the seeds already planted, the trees growing. We're going to go ahead and keep getting business there, but I think yeah, long term, I need to start. I wanted to, diversify a little bit, and some of these markets are a little more profitable, and so we have the bandwidth. We need to get clients in these towns where we're not necessarily known as much, but can still operate the same way that we operate.
Yeah, that's exciting for sure. So when if you normally just outreach through text to your potential like to try to get leads.
Yeah, I think so. I do a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's just referral business. Sometimes people tag me and stuff on Facebook. So Facebook a lot. Yeah, sometimes I'll just do cold text if I have time to. And that's part of the problem is I need to free up more time so I can do the selling side of it and send out more cold outreach. But yeah, I'll do. To me, I'll just do a cold text. I think that's good. And then I'm looking to get up set up like whatever Ryan was talking about, Ryan Bakey when he was on about the or maybe he wasn't talking. Maybe we were talking off the podcast, but whatever is the voice to whatever to voicemail. Just go straight to their voicemail instead of having to bother people by making the direct cold
Oh,
call. Maybe
oh,
a little
oh,
bit,
oh.
but
Ringless voicemail.
yeah, ringless
Yeah,
voicemail. There
ringless
you go. So
voicemail.
looking to put that in, but
Yeah, you
most
can
of
do
it
that drop.co.
drop.co.
Yeah,
You
write that
hadn't done it
down. That's
yet, but
why I said it, because I knew you were going to write it. I knew you were going to write that down. Drop.co. Yeah, you could record
big
it
big
on
note.
your
I'm a
computer
big
and
note
use
guy.
your microphone. Yeah, that's why I said it, because I knew you were going to take notes. Sorry to interrupt you. I apologize. Anyway, continue.
No, no, that's all good. And I think that's it. I think that's how I've been getting most of them Facebook groups, referrals. Trying to think how I've gotten crafty before. Most of them, it's been just cold outreach to people in struggling listings. And typically, if a listing is struggling, and there's pain points, and they're sometimes they ignore it, but they're a lot of times they're interested in hearing at least what you have to say because they're like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's exciting. I mean, I look forward to seeing what happens a year from now. Um, I mean, especially with both of us in the space and the different things that we're doing, right? So, I mean, you're doing a lot of co-hosting, but we're doing a podcast and I'm doing a meetup and we're doing a lot of connecting and different things. So, I'm excited to see what happens a year from now. I made a post today. We've had 500 downloads. They call it downloads. So, our podcast has been listened to over 500 times now. Um, which is pretty good. We don't even have the 20th episode posted yet. We're on the 19th episode, so I would take that as a win right now for me, at least.
Oh yeah, dude, I think it's awesome. We'll just keep making good content and keep putting it out there, keep building brands, and then just doing what we're doing to help all the people out there that are listening. And hopefully we tend to get too off topic and we kind of bullshit a little bit. That's just kind of how we roll. But at the end of the day, we are still giving good knowledge to people that need it, and everybody is learning from us and through us and getting that. Learning through our experiences, our losses, our wins, what's working, what's not working. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are trying to build co-host businesses like we are and want to know more about short-term rentals. So we do provide value in a way. So that's glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that we're getting the feedback from people listening and downloading it.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed we're doing something right. I will say we should have Joe Rohn on here again because when he promoted our podcast, we had a lot of listeners in one day. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully everybody's learning or whatnot. We'd like to see more people ask. And you can hit us on the DMs in the show notes. I put all of our links to follow the co-host bros links, my links, Austin's links, and even on YouTube, you could just comment on the video and give us questions or something you want us to talk about because we're really here to just help people, help in general. We're here to learn from each other. I learn something new from Austin every single freaking time we do this, and he probably learns something new from me, and we learn something new from our guests, and we just want to sit here and learn along with you. So we're all just here to learn together. So if there's something that we can cover, or maybe get someone to cover, or if you want to be a guest and you want to go over something or anything short-term rental related, actually really anything real estate related, I don't even mind talking to you. uh, Personally, that's just my opinion. I'd discuss it with my partner in crime over there, the guy who's looking at the camera with the beady eyes. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what we're here to do. Yeah, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's our mission. So we'll keep putting that good content out. Other than that, man, I'm good to wrap it up. We're at about 52 minutes. You got anything else?
Yeah, we would be at 52 minutes, but you told me to cut that whole section out. But I forgot to tell you, at the Co-Host Bros podcast, we don't cut anything out. So thank you
Right.
everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Austin's not happy with it.
Peace.
The Co-Host Bros Podcast.